What's up, guys? It's the Resale Brothers back at it again with another video from the warehouse. Today we got a fun one for you. It's how to sell on eBay in 2025, but we're taking a little bit of a different take on it. It's the mistakes that broke us. So the stuff we did in the beginning that really held us back from becoming the seven-figure resellers that we are today. We're going to tell you about them so you do not make those mistakes. We're going to reverse time and go back to 2022, late 2021, and we're going to tell you about all the things that we messed up. Time to jump right into the mistakes that the seven-figure resellers made. Roll back the clock to 2022, maybe even late 2021. I don't remember exactly when we started, but so here it is. The first problem we had, yeah, we started to do this, and we tried to come up with an inventory system. If you heard that ding, Christian's wife is wondering where he is. The first thing we did, we instead of the sequential order that we have now, we created like a bin system that I guess we didn't create it. We saw other people do it, so we decided to try it as well, where we had bankers boxes is what they're called, and we had them letter ordered. So it was A, B, C, D, and then we would put our stuff in the A bin and just try to find it. It took forever, and we eventually got to Z real quick, and then it was like, okay, now what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So
not really scalable for any size inventory. Like once you pass like 1,000 items, that inventory system becomes obsolete.
Yeah, and you got to try to sort. It takes a long time to find stuff. So that was the first place in which we made an error very quickly.
Which in retrospect, I mean, I don't know where we thought we were going with that. I mean,
I don't know.
Any projecting forward at all would tell you that that system's not going to last in the long run. If you want to be a full-time reseller, which anytime we do something, we go all out. So we were planning on it from the very beginning. So in retrospect, definitely glad that we changed that quickly as opposed to waiting.
Yeah. And then we stored our items in the cellophane clear bags that a lot of people do. Not bad. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily.
No,
but
go grab one.
Here's the original. What we used to do. Cellophane clear bag. SKU on top. Now we just put stuff right in the bag that it's going to ship out in. So as soon as we pick it, it's ready to go in the bag.
Talk about what we write on.
And we write down NFL Jets for this one. So that way we know when something sells, we can see that, oh, this is a New York Jets item. So
whatever the item is.
That's the check we do.
If it was a Ralph Lauren shirt, we'd write Ralph Lauren or RL, whatever.
Yeah. So instead of taking an extra 1 to 2 minutes to put something in a cellophane, to put something in a new bag from the cellophane bag, or just to drop it in, it takes longer than just writing down.
You're saving money. I mean, you're not paying for 2 bags. Yes. Instead of paying for 2, you're paying for 1, and it's ready to go. You got to pay for the shipping bag no matter what.
If you do have to double wrap something, if you have to put something in another bag, it's still cheaper to do 2 poly mailers than it is to do a cellophane bag and a poly mailer.
Hello, I like money.
Right. So cheaper all the way around, just makes more sense.
So to reiterate, mistake number 1 was our poor inventory system.
Yes. And now, what are we going to do different? So the numbered bin system that we do, go ahead, you want to talk about what we do now?
Now we have a sequential order numbered bin system. So it starts at 1, it ends at whatever number we're on now. I think it's like somewhere close to
77,000.
Yeah, we're getting close to 80,000 now. So everything's just in sequential order, right? So if we sell something out of the box that has 1 through 10, we sell number 9, everything just slides forward towards the end of the box. And then about once a month, once every 2-3 months, it depends on how many items we're selling, we'll do a consolidation. We'll just slide everything forward and move it on down the row. It's the best way we found, and it's a good way to make sure that you're always keeping your boxes full and you're not having to get rid of boxes because you've sold too many items and now you got empty spaces all over the shelves. So just putting items in sequential order has really been a total time saver for us, because we never have to worry about where's this item at. We know it's in this box because everything is completely in order.
Oh, and another thing we did in the beginning, we almost forgot. The SKUs that we did, they were really dumb and really random. So I have no idea why we did.
They were literally completely random.
It makes no sense. Like it would be something that was a red shirt, a red polo shirt or whatever, and we would just put like red. I don't even know why we did. It made no sense. The SKU would be like red 1, and it was so stupid. It was the dumbest thing ever. We didn't do that very long, thankfully, because we figured out how dumb it was. But we did that
God,
for a little bit.
when one of those would sell, boy, it'd be a hunt.
So now we do the SKU as the number, like you said, from 1 to 77,000 right now. So those are our numbers of the SKU. And then those are the sequential part where you try to find the item. And then we have the cost average in the middle. And then we have the date that it was listed. So we can see, okay, we know we paid this much for it. So if we paid $5 cost average that day for that item, if we get a $15 offer, we know we're still making money.
It helps you with taking offers,
right?
yeah.
And then also the date listed, we can see that, okay, this thing was listed. It's been listed for 7 months. It's been listed for a year. We're more likely to take an offer on something that was listed longer, and we can see it in the SKU without having to go back and look and see when it was listed.
And the reason that's so important for us is because we use Nifty. So we're recreating items constantly. So an item might have been listed last week, but it was originally created all the way back in 2022. So that's really important for our business in particular, because like I said, we're making sure our listings are fresh and we make sure we recreate on a regular basis for all of our inventory.
Sorry to pause the video right here, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying it, but I had to tell you about Nifty.AI. It's the reselling software that we've been using over the last year. It's helped grow our business over $100,000. It's the thing that we use for delisting. It's what we use for cross-listing, and it's what we also use for the recreate feature, which has been a game changer for us. If you're interested in learning more about it, we created a free mini course to tell you everything you need to know about it, and it can help you set everything up. It goes through everything that you could possibly want to know about Nifty.AI, and it's free, 100% free. The link is in the description. It'll teach you everything you need to know about it, and it'll basically give you a trial before you even go use it. Code Resale Bros will get you 15% off, best discount on the internet, so go ahead and check it out. Now we're going to get back to the video. Another inventory thing we messed up was the first thing we tried to do was skimp out on shelves and tried to go really cheap with shelves. We tried to build our own. Build our own one really
I'll pop
big
this on
one.
the screen, yeah.
Yes, and it was just
huge wooden shelves that we had.
Really heavy.
Super heavy, impossible to move.
Yeah, and it was really not even, it's actually kind of not safe. Really.
Yeah, well, we would have to walk around them. So they were like right in the middle of the room, and they had boxes on both sides. So like you could access a box on this side of the shelf and on this side, but you pretty much have to walk all the way around the box in order to pick orders. So it was like, I mean, just making our life way harder than it had to be, just trying to save probably like maybe a couple $100.
Yeah, so then we finally broke down and bought regular shelves.
Yeah.
We also bought some that were too tall for us, thinking, hey, we go as high as we can, and then we don't have to worry about it. The only problem with that is it's good because you can fit more items, sure. One, they're more expensive. Two, we need a ladder to get to the top.
Ladder, we did not think about that.
Yeah, and when you have to get, well, he needs a ladder. I can kind of reach, but it's still annoying compared to the other ones.
I forgot you were 8 feet tall.
So they're not that tall.
They're pretty.
So now
12-foot shelves.
We bought shorter ones that we can reach, both of us, shorty, without having to get a ladder. So
essentially saving time. Yeah. I mean, if it takes you more time to get up to the shelf, since we have the space. Now, if you're limited on space, sometimes you have to go higher. But if you're not limited on space, our suggestion is buy shelves that you can reach the top of without having to have a ladder.
If you have to go vertical, it's not a big deal compared to the other stuff. But random SKUs, we did stupid. Cellophane bags and the shelves we incorrectly did. So learn from those mistakes.
All right. Mistake number 2, I'm taking this one, is our photo setup. Our original photo setup. I mean, I think we've gotten rid of most of our original inventory from way back when. But if we were to go back and look at the photos of our original photos, they were our original products, I should say. They were absolutely terrible. We took them on a white background. We had no dedicated photo stations, so pretty much everything we did in the same spot. We had nothing separate for shoes, accessories, other things. It was all pretty much in the same area.
Random makeshift lighting from lights we had laying around.
No consistent no consistent lighting. Our photos didn't look the same, but depending on who was taking the photos. But everything was kind of just winging it, which is fine when you're starting out. I mean, sometimes you got to wing it to make it. But once you become more serious, we think it's better to have processes and systems and consistency within your photo setup process. So what we've done differently is we now have organized photo stations for efficiency. We got clothes in a certain area, we got shoes in a certain area. We actually have different like photo booths and lighting for shoes and accessories, and we have complete systems in place for how we take the photos, how we have our cars laid out for our VAs when we're listing items. So everything's organized, everything's fast, it's streamlined, and it has a nice, good, consistent flow to it to where you're not wasting time. We also have, like I just said, our labeling system for the VAs. We use VAs to list our items. We also use AI now. Now that Nifty has a new AI listing feature, it pretty much does the job of the VAs for us. Now, we still like our VAs. They do a lot of back-end work for us, other stuff, even with the listings. Sometimes stuff will need adjusted. So they do that as well, but it's really cut their time down using Nifty's AI feature. So check it out. Everybody's talking about these AI listers. Nifty's AI is every bit as good as everybody else's, including Tech's new, what's it called? List something, whatever his new software is. Every bit as good as that,
Cheaper.
but it's like 10 times cheaper. So
And
check it out. If you like that feature for him.
And you get cross-listing and delisting.
Yeah. Way
And
better.
recreates.
We're not biased. Just if you've tried both, you wouldn't even be questioning at all. You'd be like, wow, this is way better, way cheaper.
And he'll put up a picture of the card we use for the VAs
Right.
to give them all the information. Like I said, with the AI, you don't necessarily, if you don't have a VA, an AI can kind of replace that, and you don't need the card basic as like we do. But if you do want a VA, he'll show you the card so it can,
Well, even with these AI softwares, I mean, they're not 100% accurate. I watched a video by Big Yumbo going through text software, and it was getting categories wrong. It was getting all kinds of stuff wrong. It was getting pricing wrong. It gets
sizing
wrong. It gets a lot right, but having redundancies and systems in place to where if the AI is wrong, you'll have it corrected and you won't have an issue. That's definitely something you should be doing if you are using the AI software.
The last thing for the lighting, invest in some good lights, something that really will make your photos pop. And then the background, we like to use a gray background. One, it doesn't get as dirty as quickly, depending on, I mean, the clothes aren't necessarily dirty, but just, hair sticks to them. You get lint and stuff is very vibrant and very easy to see on white backgrounds. In grays, the gray background we use, it's a Sherpa background. Clothes stick to it better, and you can't see the little fuzzes and stuff on the fabric as easily as you can on a white background. So, yeah, suggest we do all that. Next mistake. We went back in time and realized that we
slow at shipping.
Shipping slow. And now the exact shipping process we had isn't a lot different in like how we put stuff in bags and how we print the label. That's not way different, but the main thing that we did different now is that we used to do our shipping in the evening. So as soon as we got here, we would take our photos, do all that. Was one art we only took 10 a day, which just seems crazy now.
We do 10 items each.
10 items a day, which actually we started out 10 total, and then it was 10 each, and then it was bad. And now we do, like I said, 75 or 75 a day or something like that. But basically, we would do our packages in the evening at the end of the day, and then drive them to the post office. So we would have to try to figure out exactly how much time the shipping was going to take, so we could get it to the post office in time. So it could be 1 o'clock one day, 2 o'clock a different day, 3 o'clock. We weren't really selling that much, so we can wait till later in the day.
Flying by the seat of
But
our
we had to
pants,
drop it off at the post office, so it took a while to do.
Right.
And then you were stuck with these big bins in your car.
God, I hated carrying. They're so heavy.
It was a pain and a half. So basically, you can schedule pickups to have the mailman, mail woman, whatever it is,
mail carrier,
sorry, come to your house and pick up your stuff for us. We actually made a deal with our guy. Not a deal, but he
talk to your carrier.
Right, talk to your carrier, see if they can just pick it up for you. So he goes through his whole route and comes back and picks us up at the end, just so that he can have an empty car, and he'll pick all of our stuff up at once and then go back to the post office. So it helped us out a lot.
And make sure you're talking to them, because you want to make sure they're scanning your packages. And I know some people use pirate ship so they can get those big scan sheets. We like to use eBay's shipping because you're more protected that way. If there's an issue, eBay stands by their shipping. So that's why we use eBay shipping. They're pretty much the same price between eBay and pirate ship. But we also make sure that our packages are getting scanned in. So every single time our mailman comes, he scans every single package. That way there's no us wondering whether or not we're going to have a late shipment we know everything is 100% taken care of.
The last thing we used to do weird in shipping was we would try to calculate the profit while we were shipping the
Oh
item.
God, yeah.
So we would,
Spreadsheets, baby.
yeah, we would take a spreadsheet. We got a spreadsheet from a reseller. Not gonna say who it is, but it's not a bad thing.
Fake my hair color.
Yeah, but we tried to do it, which is great, totally fine if you're a small seller. But we started selling more and more items, and it got to the point where um, putting in how much we sold the item for, putting in how much we had to pay for shipping, and then it just took a long time.
And that's another, I don't want to cut you off, but that's another reason why in our 13 tips video, we talked about being careful who you follow. If you want to be a full-time reseller and you want to really scale out, do not follow resellers or model your business after resellers that are not to scale, because you'll have processes and you'll be doing things that are not congruent with running a full-scale business, which is kind of most of our mistakes at the beginning involved doing things that people who weren't to scale and weren't big full-time resellers were doing. So
yeah, so what we would fix, basically, we talked about the scheduling pickups. We ship first thing in the morning now. As soon as we get here, like we always talk about, sending out offers in the morning, answering messages, but we do all that throughout the day as well. And then we ship our things first thing in the morning, and so they're ready for the post office, the mail carrier, to come pick it up. He normally comes around 12 to 2-ish, some time frame in there, but yeah, he comes and picks up our stuff for us. And then the last thing is we calculate profit at the end of the month. There's ways you can do it with your software. I'm sure you can do it with Nifty. You can do it with some of the other things that you.
yeah, Nifty has a thing. So when you do your listings initially on Nifty, you can add the buy cost, and then it has an entire accounting end of the software where it'll do your profit.
We try to make our listing as quick as possible, so we don't worry about that. We do all the profits on a spreadsheet one time in the month. Actually, I do it, and it's not that difficult to do. When you have our SKU system, you can separate it and you can get the cost of goods. It's really easy.
And the reason it would be just as easy, because when we list the item, you could just put the cost in. So if you're starting fresh on Nifty, it would be just as easy to do that. But not all of our inventory in Nifty, because like I said, they didn't used to have the accounting on Nifty. Not all of our inventory has the buy cost. So it would be impossible for us to do that unless we went back and added all the buy costs for all 12,000 of our inventory. That's the only reason we don't do it, or that's the reason we do it by the spreadsheet, like you said, at the end of the month. But if you're just now starting out and you've not tried Nifty yet, you can go ahead and use that accounting feature and be completely ready to go.
Plus, I'm just really careful about the numbers and stuff, and I don't even trust eBay to get
That's a good
everything
point.
right. So I like to do it by hand and to make sure. It does take a little bit longer, but I just do it in the evening after work anyway, so it's fine.
This is a guy coming from Amazon, where you'd pull Amazon reports and there'd be like these random phantom fees nobody knows about. So trusting software to do your accounting sometimes can be a little scary. Is this me? Am I number 4?
You.
Mistake number 4, we did not use automation.
Kind of talked about this already.
Or software. We kind of went over a little bit. We didn't cross list when we first started reselling.
Another advice we took from
it's another, in our 13 tips, we said watch who you follow. Some people's information is a little outdated. Initially, we were watching people like Tech and Sports, Daily Refinement, and they were not cross-listing. They basically said if you're selling on eBay, cross-listing is not necessary. It's just making things more complicated. What if you sell something on Poshmark and then you don't have it for eBay because it sells on eBay too? Nowadays, with all these cross-listing softwares, Nifty in particular, everything's automated. If you sell something on eBay, it automatically comes out of stock on Poshmark, Mercari, and likewise with the other platforms. And then listing to the other platforms is literally a push of a button, takes 1 second, and you're gonna get all those extra sales. I mean, we did a lot in sales. I'll pull up on the screen exactly how much we did in sales on Poshmark last year, but all of those sales we would not have had when we first started reselling because we were not cross-listing. So a big thing in 2025, if you're a serious reseller, we think you should be cross-listing 100%.
Some things we do now that we didn't do then, like you said, the Nifty, but we also use a thing called Zoho Expense to take photos of our receipts and keep track of all of our expenses and stuff. So when you go to the end of the month, you can just look at the month and see the total expenses. And if you need a breakdown, you can look at that. We don't get It's not an ad or anything. This is what we use. It's called Zoho Expense.
No affiliation.
Yeah. Automate routine tasks with VA. So we do stuff that's very repeatable, obviously, in this business all the time. So we use the VAs for that, like the
Even just listings.
yeah,
I mean, we used to do all the listings by hand ourselves.
yeah. So mainly VAs are mainly for the listings and the recreates, but stuff that we one don't like to do and two are just very easy tasks they can do. Also, now that the AI stuff is getting better and better, instead of a VA, you can do that and just be careful with the VA stuff. Not the VA. Be careful with the AI stuff. I'd say even more than the VAs, just because you have to go through and make sure everything's right. Make sure they're not using words they shouldn't use. Make sure the sizing, everything's correct. Because like I said, they're just going off the photos, so it's kind of difficult. So.
And with the price of like text software, obviously is way more expensive. So I wouldn't suggest using that software and hiring a VA. I would definitely pick one or the other. But if you have a software that's really reasonable in price, like Nifty is, you can even use their AI automation, like doing the title structure, filling out all of the item specifics, all that good stuff. You could even use that with a VA to cut their work time down. So you can, instead of them working 40 hours a week, if you're letting them use the AI software and just spot check it because they've already been kind of trained on how to do listings, maybe you can cut their hours down to 20 hours a week. So another way you can save money actually using AI as a benefit.
Number 5, inefficient listing and pricing. So we didn't use the cost average. We would write down the cost of each individual item. It took forever. Even in the SKUs, when we switched SKU systems, we would still do that for a long time. It was a pain and a half. So we started just doing, for every time we would go and go shop and come back with a batch, like a big amount of items, we would do the cost average for that and then make sure all that was listed. And so we never got stuff confused, and each item had its own, they all cost the same because it was cost average. So granted, sometimes it makes it look like you're making way more on one item than you really are because you paid 25, but it says cost average, so it says 7.
But if you're buying your items,
But
man,
it
you
works.
know that.
Yeah, it works. It works itself out in the end, so not a big deal.
Another thing we do is we were not listing consistently in subcategories. We weren't listing, say, shorts every day. We weren't listing, that's a little bit of a subcategory. We weren't listing in hats. We weren't listing in short sleeve.
It really came
polos.
into effect with shoes and women's clothing.
Yeah.
That was when it really hurt us because we
Yeah.
had a lot of women's clothing from the beginning when we started, and we had a lot of shoes, and we stopped buying those, so we
Yeah.
weren't listing them at all. So they got pushed down way in the algorithm and it never got seen. And then when we started recreating them, they would show up and people would all of a sudden we were selling a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like if you're a reseller and say you, like us maybe, don't list shoes every week and you list like several pairs of shoes in a row and you say, oh wow, these shoes I listed a year ago. So yeah, there's a reason for that. It's the eBay algorithm and it rewards you for listing in categories consistently. So that's one of the things that we've changed. We did not used to do it and now we do. Mistake number 6, we ignored marketing and optimization. And by marketing and optimization, I mean running promotions. We were not promoting our listings as aggressively as we do now. Maybe we started off not promoting at all, and then maybe I think pretty sure we gradually upped it to like 4%, and then 5%, and now we're sitting around 8 to 10% as our promotional rate. We didn't accept enough offers either. So we were more attached to our inventory. We've kind of talked about this in previous videos, but say we had something listed for $30, we got a $20 offer, we would counter 25 instead of just taking that $20 offer. Now we don't do that. Now we accept offers. We also think that feeds the eBay algorithm and gets you more sales overall. So accepting offers is something that's big that we do now that we did not do before. And we used to list inconsistent quantities and categories. We kind of just went over that. We were not making sure that we were listing in the appropriate categories every single week.
Yeah, and then like I said, accept more offers. eBay likes when you sell stuff. They like the people that sell a lot of items, so they're gonna push traffic to you if you convert more. So try to convert more. Buying the wrong inventory. So
Oh yes,
we would buy a lot of dirty shoes, thinking we're going to wash them, and then they took a long time to wash and stuff. scrub them and do all kinds of drying them, and they would take hours. I mean, it was just a pain and a half, really, when we could have taken photos and sold multiple different shirts or pants or something, or
Also,
clean shoes in that matter, in that case as well.
Also,
So
I mean, pay attention to what's selling. If you buy 100 pairs of size 0 used J. Crew women's pants that are skinny and they don't sell, I mean, pay attention to that and don't buy it again. There's a lot of stuff that we've phased out that we just don't buy, even if it's a good brand. If it's a certain style or a certain size that just doesn't sell for us, or maybe it's like an outdated pattern, we've cut, I'd say 90% of that stuff out. There's always that 10% that maybe you still pick up just as oh, this is a great deal, I'm going to buy this, and maybe sit on it for a little bit, especially as volume sellers. But knowing what's selling in your store and knowing what not to buy is a huge difference, especially for us now that we've been reselling for a little bit.
And it's not just dirty shoes either. It's dirty clothes. Obviously, you want to buy the best item. So if something has a stain or whatever, obviously avoid that. But if it's a shirt or something that's a good, like Patagonia, the better sweaters, if we could get at a good price, it needed so much sweater shaving that it was ridiculous. If it took, I mean, it would take 30 to 45 minutes just to sweater shave it. We did that multiple times way back in the beginning. It's not worth it. It's not worth the time and effort it takes to do that to make $15 when you could have listed 15 things in that
But
time
then you got to
period.
deal with some grungy old sweater.
Especially if it's something that is not really that great anymore. If it's something that's, an amazing brand that's a once in a lifetime find and you got to do some work on it, yeah, sure, that's fine. But if it's something that's more common, maybe you make $10, $15 on it, it's not really worth the effort and the hassle and extending out your day, because then you're just thinking, my hourly rate is going down, down, down.
We've
down,
all
down.
bought a North Face that smells like cat pee. But don't do
cat
it.
hair, yeah.
Cat hair. Oh,
hair
yeah,
is a
cat
big
hair.
one that just takes forever to get off.
All right, mistake number 8, our back end setup and tools that we were using. We did not have a vendor's license when we first started, so we were paying sales tax for everything we purchased from the thrift stores and retail stores. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, 7%, a little over 7%, depending on where you live. It really adds up when you're buying tens of thousands of dollars worth of items. You want to make sure that you're not overpaying as far as sales tax goes. We delayed buying things that we needed. For example, if you're delaying buying a thermal printer or bulk shipping supplies, make sure that you do that as soon as it makes sense for your business. You don't want to be digging around, going back and forth from Walmart trying to buy shipping supplies. It's going to really slow you down, and it's just, there's really no sense to it. I mean, shipping supplies are pretty reasonable. So we just make sure that you're buying everything you need to make your life a little easier.
The vendor's license sounds something that sounds scary, but it's not a difficult thing to do.
No, we actually had somebody who's another reseller on YouTube reach out to us about vendor's license, and sometimes it can be confusing. Like depending on what state you live in, it might like seem like you have to do all this different stuff. But just type it into AI or something and ask it what's the easiest way to do this without going through a third party, because there's a lot of third party sites that will try to upcharge you.
Goodwill, the thrift stores we goes to, a lot of places. All you have to do is ask. Marshalls and TJ Maxx.
They take tax exempt.
Yeah, they all take tax exempt, so it's something that can save you a lot of money.
And a little bit of a tip.
Quick.
Have a printed out version of your tax document with you. That way,
especially for TJ Maxx.
Yeah, if they ask for it, you can just give it to them and then just print another one out. So pretty easy there.
Yeah. Okay. Bad workspace setup. So
mistake number 9.
We actually originally shared our space with another group. They were actually family members, so we didn't have the whole space to ourselves. It caused a lot of issues. One reason we didn't start the YouTube channel earlier is because we were sharing a space. We didn't really have a specific zone for photos. The photography was over here. I'm pointing at something random, but trust me, I'm pointing at where it used to be. It was with the inventory. It was just in a bad spot. It wasn't very good. So there was no organization or flow to it. So we sat down and took a long time to figure out where everything should go.
So just make sure your workplace setups make sense.
Yeah, and another thing about workplace, this kind of could have gone in the listing aspect, but listing like items together. So doing a whole bunch of, when you're taking photos, it's easier to do repeatable things over and over again. So if you're doing
less movement, better.
yeah, button-up shirts, have a whole thing of button-up shirts, and then Christian would do shorts or pants. So he have a bunch of pants, and that's something that you could just get really repetitive in doing to where you don't even have to think. Well, I know we talk about listing in multiple categories. You could do that with the recreate, or you can do like 15 of this and 15 of that, or 20 and 20, or however many you do. But just doing things repetitively.
That saves a lot.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like it can be mental too. Like
Yeah.
I can get twice the amount of listings done if I just do the same thing, same similar like you said, shorts. If I do shorts over and over and over and over and over again, I mean, if you think about it, it's the same measurements, it's the same photos for every item. You get into like a groove to where you can almost do it through muscle memory.
Yeah,
and that's the sweet spot. If you're doing that like that with muscle memory, you're gonna be as fast as you.
But if you have to switch between, oh, I got a shorts hanger for this one. All right, now I have to switch to doing a shirt hanger. I got to button up all the buttons. It's just going to take you longer to go back and forth
and
between
it
the items.
takes, it's not like it's rocket science or anything, but it does take more mental energy to switch from a polo to a pair of shorts to a pair of jeans to a jacket. I mean, it takes mental energy to switch your brain into doing something else.
Yeah, almost same thing with male and female too.
Yeah.
It can still get confusing of, all right, I take a few different photos for female stuff than male stuff.
And that contributes to burnout too.
Yeah.
They say that grandmaster chess players burn as much calories as Olympic athletes. And that's because what you're using in your brain is using energy. I mean, if you're thinking really hard about something or even just a little more than normal, yeah, that might not be a lot more thinking, but that's going to take up more of your mental energy, and that's going to contribute more to your burnout.
Christian likes chess.
I'm a Magnus Carlsen guy.
I like chess too. Go back. Let's skip that one. Yeah. Your turn.
All right, guys. To recap, we're just gonna run through some of our favorite points of this video.
Oh, we forgot one more.
We did.
Yeah. When I say death piles, yeah, death piles are a crazy thing that people have for sure. We used to have a massive death pile that you wouldn't believe. It was insane. Like I said, we were buying a ton of stuff, but we were still at that point we were listing 30 a day, 15 each or something.
You've heard
like
of
that.
Kilimanjaro? We had Kilimanjaro.
So it was just massive. we went to a point of, okay, we're gonna take this seriously. We didn't shop for over a month. That's how many things we had, and we started listings. We started taking pictures of 60 items a piece a day. So we were,
and we've never not stopped.
Yeah, photographing 120 items a day, 5 days a week, and didn't have to shop for a month. That's how many items we had in our death pile.
Yeah.
So it just get your death pile listed. Start from scratch. Don't shop till it's done, and then you're basically on a clean slate. Start from zero. Everything you have is done. You're ready to go. Get to start on the new stuff. You have money coming in instead of money sitting there on your tables or in your inventory not being listed. So,
all right, to recap, organize your inventory and photo setup. Make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible. These are our biggest things that we would do differently. Automate as much as you can. If you can hire VAs or use AI software to make your life easier, or use automated like in and out of stocks. If you're cross-listing, make your life easier. Automate if at all possible.
Especially with listing, because people get done with taking their photos and then dread the going back and having to finish everything out.
Yeah. So. Stop buying time-wasting items. Stop buying stuff that's defective, that needs peeled, that's got cat hair all over it, that smells. Stop buying stuff that's going to just waste your time and make your life harder for no reason. Tony would say track expenses and profits properly. Make sure that you're knowing your numbers and that you're not only knowing your numbers, but you're going through them in a proficient manner to where like we do cross averages now and we do it at the end of the month. We know our numbers well, but we're not spending thousands of hours just going through and plugging in each item specifically, individually. We're making sure that we do it in a smart way that is still, obviously, tracks all of our receipts, still does everything properly for the tax man or just in general, so you know your numbers well. But we're doing it in a way that's efficient and that makes sense for us. And be consistent with listing, shipping, and offers and messages and all that good stuff. Just make sure you're being consistent and don't answer every message one day and the next day not answer any.
Get
be
your
consistent.
Stuff picked up.
Yeah,
saves a lot of time and headache and stuff like that. So, yeah. Pretty much the point of this video,
learn from our pain,
was to tell you the stuff that we did wrong and
yeah,
to tell you everything that we needed to change in order to grow, in order to be more successful. The growing pains that we suffered for, I mean, at least 6 months to a year before figuring out the way we actually do things. It can benefit you a lot from learning from what we did. And don't necessarily just copy and paste our thing. It's not like it's our
That's
thing.
something. One of the things we regretted was copy and pasting from a YouTube channel.
There are always ways to improve. You can sit down and think of your own system that works. Not only like we have a bigger space than most people, so think of systems that work for your space. Think of systems that are going to work well for you. Take stuff from us or from other people that you trust, and then adapt it to you. Some things you might copy, and some things you might do a little different. Some things you might not do at all. So just try to do all that. You can throw comments in. We try to answer almost all of our comments, especially in the beginning when a video comes out. So just
comment stuff that you do differently now, that maybe like our story, like we talk about stuff that we used to do that we don't do now. Comment anything that you've changed in your system. Maybe it's something that so it'll help somebody else who's maybe doing what you're doing. If they see it in the comment, maybe it'll help them stop doing that.
Yeah, you can also DM us on Instagram. You can DM
us.
Puberty's tough.
Resale_brothers is our Instagram.
Yeah.
You can always reach out to us there or through email with anything you guys need or any questions.
We'll try our best to answer you. Also, you can just leave a question in the comments too. That's totally fine.
Don't forget, if you don't do anything, subscribe to our channel and like this video. That's all we need from you. That's all we ask. We don't ask that. We have an affiliate with Nifty. You get 15% off.
Code Resale Bros.
Yeah, code Resale Bros. It's the biggest discount available. It helps support the channel. That's the only thing we have that helps the channel as far as it makes us money. And we just basically have that to help you guys because we think it'll make you a lot of money and help your business. But we don't ask that you donate to us. We don't ask that you do anything that's not going to help you. All we need is for you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment
on
the
notification bell.
Yeah.
So you see our videos coming out.
Yeah, that's what tells us we're doing a good job more than anything else. As long as you guys are liking the videos, we'll keep them coming for sure.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. We're on our way to 20K.
Wow, we got a while.
Be the 20,000th person.
Share the videos.
Do it now.
We're gonna beg. Should we beg?
Please.